Whether you're into sports cars or not, everyone knows the Porsche 911. It really is the quintessential sports car. So in today's Everyday Review, we're going to take these beautiful 911s onto the gorgeous roads of Valencia, Spain, and of course, take it to the track. The 911 is the heart and soul of the Porsche brand, and as they've called it, it's timeless, and I agree. One thing about this Porsche is its iconic look, which over the years has definitely changed, but even after 50 years, there's still no mistaking the distinct shape of that falling roofline of the 911. The 8th generation 911 is built off a brand new platform and gets the new designation of 992. From a quick glance, you might not see the differences between this and the current generation, but there's a lot. One of the most obvious is the front now features an extended hood or the bonnet. It's more reminiscent of the 911s of past with a recess in front of the windshield. This creates two sharp creases that accentuate the hood, creating a grounded look in my opinion. The front gets LED headlamps and an optional LED matrix system with 84 pixels. Basically, it's like a smart light. It can recognize traffic signs and illuminate them better and just give you better vision overall. There is active aero in the front here with these grills which open and close depending on your aero needs. The wheelbase is the same as the outgoing model, yet the length of the car has been increased by 20 millimeters. All 911s now get a wide body. And let me tell you, this thing looks tough. One thing that helps out are the standard 21-inch 305 rear wheels, and the front are staggered with 20-inch 245 Pirelli P0s. I love what they've done with the door handles. They've recessed them in, and when you open it up, they pop open. The door has a real nice, substantial feel to it. This new 911 uses more aluminum than any other 911 before, and they really need to because they've made the vehicle bigger and longer, so you're gonna add a little bit of more weight, so you need to save weight. This entire piece, all the way back now, all the way back here, is made of aluminum, and that alone saves 12 kilograms. My favorite part, look at the size of those fenders just bulging out around those huge 305 tires there. You have this wraparound LED light bar. I personally really like it. And seriously, a lot of cars, it's the front that's so attractive and the rear not so much. This, all angles, this car looks good, but especially from the back. Integrated into the rear itself is the rear spoiler. So when it's down, it's just really an integral part of the vehicle. You can't even really tell it's there. There's two stages. At 90 kilometers an hour, it pops up to stage 1, and then at about 170K, it'll go up to stage 2. It's also used for different things like in wet mode. Even if you're not doing 170 kilometers an hour, it can go up to help enhance traction. Above that, you have your center brake light. Now, when the spoiler is deployed, when it's up, it blocks that center light, so they've integrated a center light into the spoiler, which is a good thing. So how do you know the difference between a regular Carrera S, which is the two-wheel drive, or a Carrera 4S, which is the all-wheel drive? Well, the grille color is different. This is all black, where the 4S will have chrome accents on the grille. Now, here's a cool little Easter egg find. Look at the grille, count the slots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2 red lights. 11. 9, 11. How cool is that? And then you get into the inside of the new 911, which looks and feels so familiar, yet so different. Familiar-wise, you have your ignition switch on the left side. Here's a little interesting story. People think that that was for standing starts when you're racing at Le Mans and you have to run, and it's easier just to turn the key on the left side instead of reaching over on the right side. Truth of the matter is, we were told at the Porsche Museum a couple years ago, that's not true. It was because they were trying to save on material of the wiring, because putting on the left side was closer to the starter. That's an interesting fact there. Anyways, you have a beautiful analog tachometer in the middle. That's very familiar, but then on either side of it are these ultra high definition 7-inch screens. And what I like about them is that they're shaped, they're contoured, so it basically surrounds that center tach and makes that a showpiece. But yeah, the displays are so clear, and you can feel that they just look very thin, very, very tasteful. If you're not into digital dashes, I think you won't be disappointed with this one though. All right, and then we get to the steering wheel. We have our paddle shifters. This has the Sport Chrono package, which has the drive mode button on the steering wheel. In the center, you have a brand new 10.9-inch LCD display. Once again, it also has a very high resolution, and it has a backup camera. You can get an optional 360 camera. It has some proximity features. When you put your hand close to it, it brings up some of the menus. It has Apple CarPlay, no Android Auto, but you can use your Android with the Porsche app. Below that, you have some nice tasteful toggles. And then you get to the middle console, and this is something that some people like and some don't. You have these toggles. They have this nice knurling on them, and you get a bigger one for the gear shifter. So it's not your standard gear shifter that you're used to. This is something like out of the Porsche 918. It works very well. It's easy to use. I think it's just going to be something that you just have to get used to if you're used to the bigger one. This is equipped with leather power seats. They're very supportive. You know, some people just associate Porsche with just sports and performance, but really there's a lot more to Porsche than that. It's the interior. All of their interiors are absolutely beautiful. I love the fit and finish. I love how they're put together, especially this one. They've really harkened back to more of the vintage cars where it's very horizontal and flat all the way across, and I think they've done a really good job. Okay, you can see and hear that we are on the road now. We're going through some beautiful twisties in Valencia, Spain. These are great roads, man, oh man. So what's new driving this new 911? Well, it's still a 3-liter flat 6 twin turbocharged, but it makes more power now. It's basically been really tweaked. It's got larger turbos. First of all, different injectors. The intercoolers have been moved right on top of the air intake now, not on the sides like they were. So it's a more direct flow of air. It's more efficient, basically. The turbos are also now symmetrical, so they're mirrored. That also creates a better response and better efficiency. The torque is amazing. Well, let's get to the power first of all. 443 horsepower and 390 pound-feet of torque. We're driving the 2S right now, and so right now they're launching the 2S and then the 4S, and the other iterations of the 911 will come later. This is amazing. Driving the wheels is a new 8-speed PDK or automatic transmission for people that want to roll their own gears. Yes, of course there's going to be a manual version. It's just not out right now at this launch. Previously, I honestly didn't get why everyone talks so highly of the 911 until I drove one. If you haven't driven a 911, do yourself a favor. If you ever get a chance to, I am very, very lucky to get to drive this one, but they drive like no other vehicle. Like I said at the beginning, this is the quintessential sports car. Everything is so well balanced. Wherever you turn it, this is where it's gonna go. There is so much road feel. Porsche just does an amazing job of making cars that drive so well, that interact and communicate to the driver. It's basically, this car has emotion. And right now, it has a big smile on its face, and it's giving me a smile on my face as well. Everything on this 911 just works harmoniously with everything else. The brakes, they are solid, they're predictable, they have great feel where they start catching. The steering has great road feel. They actually reworked this power steering so it's a little bit more responsive and gives you a little bit more feel, and it feels great. The seats are supportive. This car is amazing to drive on a day-to-day basis, even if you're in traffic, but nothing compares to driving it on these twisty roads in Valencia, Spain. Excuse the cliche of this thing rides on rails, but this thing rides on rails. If I could find something to nitpick about this vehicle, this is kind of small. It's the fact that when you're driving this new 911, you're actually driving it. What does that mean? It means you're in the car and you don't get to be outside looking at this car, because from the outside, as you can tell from the video, this thing looks hot. It really does. Let's see what this baby can do. Okay, that's pretty quick in speed and in time. 0 to 60, this has a Sport Chrono package, is well under 4 seconds, about 3.4 seconds. And that's the 2S, which is the rear-wheel drive. If you go for the 4S, which is all-wheel drive, it's going to even shave another 1/10 off or so. You know, one of my childhood dream cars was the Porsche 959. And that car was so far ahead of its time, I find. It had 450 horsepower, it had all-wheel drive. Just think, this Carrera, if you get it in the 4S, it's almost like that Porsche 959, except for a lot less money. If you're watching this and you already own a 911, or maybe you're in the market and this could be your next vehicle, all I have to say is, I'm jealous. We are now on a purposely wet down track, and we're in Sport Plus mode. I'm actually kind of trying to put the car out of shape on purpose. You can hear and see all the active management systems kicking in, which is great, because I'm pretty sure the way that I'm driving right now, I would have spun out a long time ago without them. All right, so now one thing that I'm gonna do, because this is now equipped with a new wet mode, and a warning comes on, notification. Now it's up to me to switch it over, and now I'm gonna put it into wet mode. Okay, right off the bat, the throttle response is definitely different. Okay, I feel like I'm a pro driver, okay? I'm giving it quite a bit more input, especially on this corner here. Okay, this is a huge marked difference, like massive. It's almost cheating. You can be so much quicker in the wet. So what it's doing, it's adjusting not just the throttle response, but all of the management systems, the stability control, the traction management, the steering, as well as the transmission as well. All right, so we're going down the straightaway here, and now it's all pooled. This is pooled water. You know what? Regardless of how talented of a driver you are, if you're driving this on day-to-day basis, every day, in rainy conditions, especially like we have on the west coast of Vancouver, you know, this is not a bad thing to have, because just to have more control over your 150 $100,000 plus vehicle is definitely not a bad thing. Of course, the best place to take your 911 is to the racetrack. We're in Spain at Circuit Ricardo Tormo, which is a famous racetrack here, and let's see how this baby handles when you open it up a little bit. Oh my Lord. As I mentioned, it's an 8-speed PDK. No manual as of yet. And I have it in Sport Plus right now. And this transmission is so intuitive. And that motor. Oh man, this thing is so trackable. Listen to that engine. And the brakes. Now, of course, you can get optional carbon ceramic brakes. Now, if you own a 911, I plead to you, take your car to the racetrack at least once. Find out from your dealer when there's a track day and sign yourself up, because you will not regret it. And if you get really into more advanced driving, or you want to better yourself as a driver, they have a Porsche Track Precision app. And what that allows you to do is everything of all your analytics, all your telemetry, you get everything, and you use your own phone over Wi-Fi. Oh. This is the Carrera 2 we're in right now. I just can't believe what the next generation turbo is going to be like, or their GT cars. I love that chicane. The torque is so amazing, and this thing revs out. We're hitting over 7,000 RPM. This is a good day to be alive. So that's just a quick look at the new 2020 8th generation Porsche 911. And honestly, I cannot find a fault on this. I love the styling. It looks wide, it looks mean. The interior, it looks great. The drivability on the track, off the track. This seriously is a dream car. And if it's your dream car, it hits dealerships in the third quarter of 2019. So from Spain, adios. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up. And if you want to see more everyday reviews, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.